Tappity tappity. Tippy tippy tip. Tip tip tip. Tap tap tap. Post. Okay, and there is one more step in this process because I have to go and find the replay codes. Why am I typing them out individually? The copy and paste command exists. Okay, well, the paste without formatting option exists. Okay. So let's see, this would be... One. 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5. Okay. Alrighty. That's a lot of replays. I think... Unless anyone has, like, some really, really strong desire to see me go over set 1, I probably just start with set 2. So for those who haven't seen 20XX and care about spoilers... I don't know why you're here watching the finals on my stream. That's not the super best thought out idea of yours to have. But it's okay, we still love you. For those, the rest of you who don't, we know that... Waits for everybody to mute or leave. The first set was just a blowout. It didn't seem particularly close, and I haven't gone back and watched these myself yet, but for the sake of time, given that it went to Game 5, and given that that was the far closer of the two sets, I think I'm going to look at the second set exclusively today. And maybe if there's a video to make out of the first one, then maybe we'll do that. But, I think that's what we'll start with here. Okay. So, welcome Technotronics64. Hello Half Elf. Hello Camo Joe. Hello Robin Butterfly. Hi Cosmic Nova. Hi Rashav. Hi PK Daisy. Hi Corn. Have you finally found your calling as a Stamper main? Oh yes, I went 3 and 10 the other day on the Stamper. It was glorious. It was my favorite. Hello Venomous. Hello Rissa. Happy Tuesday. That's dreadful and I love it. Hi MidX and hi Free to Play 321. Mic's a bit low. I can turn that up a little bit then. Where are the VODs? So I'm getting the replay codes from the production guy DMing them to me on Discord. So just no Dapple Productions, easy. I mean, the replay codes that I'm typing in, I'm showing on stream, so I figure you could probably go into the stream from earlier and grab them from there if you'd like. But yeah, that's where I'm getting them from. Yes, that one was kind of a wash. Sounds like a good ratio to me, having never played the weapon. That's not that I never played it either. Hello, Mossy Chris. And hello, gay Polytoad. Babs? Wait, did I miss Babs showing up? Or are you referring to us all as Babs? Oh, that might be what it is. Okay. So there's a player whose tag is Babs that also a very cool artist. I think it's like Babsy, like Babxie. But they make good arts, and you should follow them on the Tweeter. No, I'm not calling it X. I'm sorry. No, I'm not really sorry. That was just me being polite. Hi, Phydro, and hi, the Ghost Creator. I'm going to go and grab some water really quickly, because I'm going to be talking a lot today, and I need to keep my voice. So I will be right back, but here we are. Look at the backs of the inklings of these Japanese players here. You know, there's so much to learn from their gear or something. I don't know. Just learn by osmosis real quick. Oh, God. Okay. I need to go and get a drink of water really quick. I'm sorry. I'll be right back, Prochara, sir. Okay, I'm back. We're good. We were here and totally ready for that raid. Welcome, everybody. Hi. We're, yeah, so yeah, we're here, yes. Prochara meet Prochara, exactly. Hello, everybody. So, what we're doing today is different than what we usually do on my Tuesday streams. Usually on Tuesday, what we're doing is VOD reviewing for viewers, and giving them some tips, and also playing with them for the first hour. It's usually what we're doing. But today, we don't have any viewer VOD reviews. We are going to be looking through grand finals of 20XX, because on stream, I did an analyst desk. For all of the streamed sets on the Dapple Productions stream, I didn't get to do grand finals, because after grand finals, the stream just ends, and we don't have any time to kill. And there are other things to be doing there too. So this is kind of sort of the Squid School analyst desk that we didn't get to have at the end of that production. And it's a great time to slot it in, because this is what I'd normally be doing at this time of the week anyway. All right. Have I missed anything? I literally just started, Chara. The one thing that you probably didn't hear me say is that I'm skipping set 1 for time reasons, because it was a wash, and the second set was way closer, and we'll probably learn more from it. I have to imagine that maybe there was some mental game kind of stuff going on for FT Win early on, or maybe, you know, some things they had to adapt to. So I'm going to take the second set, because this is where the teams are really starting to get into the rhythm of it, and this is what we've got the time for today. So that's what we're going to be doing. Whole vid on the lack of meta stuff in these two teams' comps. Yeah, so I have a feeling from looking at the matches that I've seen so far that there is a meta, and that we just don't know it yet. That's my hypothesis. That there are definitely some things that work pretty well and that we're seeing a lot. There are more of them than there have been before. But I think when Jared, tweeted out, meta doesn't exist right now, the right now is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that statement. That there's going to be best options. And it's just harder and harder for us to figure it out because more and more options are becoming viable. So, let's get started here. We're just going to watch from overhead for the time being. If there's something in particular I need more information about, we'll probably zoom in. But let's look at team comps here for a second. I really wish you could freeze it on this screen, but you can't. So we'll just put it here. We've got Shot, V-Doolies, Tri-Nouveau, and Rapid. V-Doolies, I'm gonna be honest. I still don't get V-Doolies. Um, there's some factor that is making people like the V-Doolies over the Splash that I'm having trouble getting to. It might just be that I need to play the weapon a little bit more and figure it out. But it's hard for me to think of like what advantage those weapons have that's enough to overcome Burst Bomb plus Crab. That just seems so good. And I'm really surprised that it's seeing as much use as it is. But there are definitely some advantages, and that's one of the questions of the tournament, I think, for me, is figuring out why that's seeing use in particular. Again, I have some theories, but I want to see how they're using it and why it's working like that. So dive QR fighting an enemy terrain. So we'll see. We'll see how much they dive then, I guess, because dive seems a little bit at odds with the idea of crab tank. But, and then so that's Cooler, Crab, Zuka, and Inkjet. Phenomenal special spread. Like no, it totally makes sense to run those 4 specials on a competitive team comp right now. And then Zap, Stamper, T-Tech, and Nautilus. The T-Tech was an interesting one. I guess that... Nah, this is zones. It makes sense. They're just trying to spam zone paint. But then we've got a Nautilus. What's the Nautilus marking people for? Normally, like... I guess it's Biscuit. We're putting Nautilus on Biscuit. That's what we're doing there. Because it's like... A lot of the reason that, from my knowledge, we were seeing Nautilus recently has been point sensor to target Zukas. And there are no Zukas on this comp. So that part's interesting. It also... I mean, Xera's is a one-trick, so he's going to run that everywhere. So there's no real surprise for me that that's happening. So I guess we've got, like, the Stamper and the Nautilus, which are the primary Slayers, and they're going to be trying to... It's weird because, like, this is FT Win. They're going to run at the other team. They're not going to sit back and let them feed in, is my understanding of this. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I haven't watched this yet. Oh, this player's a V-Dooley one-trick? Well, okay, there we go. That makes sense. Is this Ku? Or is this a different player? Because, like, that seemed like too many characters to shorten down to Ku. But I do know of that player by name. Wasabifu. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Kexty. Interesting. So yeah, like whenever there are one tricks involved, it's like, okay, yeah, no surprise that they're running that weapon. Same thing with Xera's here. Like, this doesn't seem like a Stamper map to me, but also Xera's is just... Chara, what is your stance on Xera's? Because, like, when I watch Xera's, I'm like... This guy just seems like he's better at the video game than, like, everybody else. just, like, in general, like, it kind of astounds me sometimes, the plays that he's able to make on that thing. But also... That might just be me not being a top player and being like, ooh, he hit a shot instead of me who doesn't hit the shot. So, really good at spotting small positioning errors from other players. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we've got Kyo rolling out, painting for strikes, which makes sense. That is a support weapon that he's playing alongside Bursty's Zap, which is also a support weapon, and so that's also painting for Cooler. And then Xera's and Biscuit are trying to hold it down in the middle while we wait for those specials to come in, just kind of skirmishing and keeping the zone ready. This is kind of like... This is honestly like a really accelerated version of Turf War strats, where, like, you keep 2 people in the base to paint the base, and then you send 2 people out into mid to contest, so that you don't lose map control for painting your base. Like that reminds me a lot of what's going on here. Just again, very accelerated because it's just happening in like 6 seconds instead of the first 30 seconds. What is that blue smoke in mid? Maybe you're looking at the point sensor? Okay. So Xerez is kiting people into the left-hand pit, which makes sense because if they chase him, then they're off the zone, and he's eventually going to get a zip caster, which will let him become like relevant to the zone while still landing in that position. And so then even if they try to camp his zip, they have to run away. But then Zook goes out and he's like, oh wait, no, I can't be here. Then Kyo... Okay, so it looks like part of the reason for Kyo to go out right was to try and push right stack. Oh wait, what gets this bucket? I didn't even notice someone went down. Ah, a sneaky bomb that Kyo snuck up there. Okay. Yep, that's getting value. So Zuka goes out. If they survive this, they just get to kind of go in. Might be a little bit early on the strikes, but yeah, it's fine. They capped the zone anyway. I was just like, if the strikes went out while the team was still in the process of getting there, or sorry, if the strikes went out once the team had gotten there, then I feel like they could have just engaged. And instead, now they're like kind of stuck on the zone in this weird middle ground where they don't want to go past the zone because that's overextending, but they also don't want to stay on the zone because then if they die, it paints the zone. So a little awkward, but they should be able to just use their numbers to bully Fiesta back. For those who don't know, Yellow Team is called Fiesta. They are a pickup of top-level Japanese players. And then Purple Team is FT Win, kind of. It's Kyo, Biscuit, and Bursty, who are longtime members of FT Win, which is a team that hasn't existed until very recently, or maybe they're just kind of picking up because it's that group of players mostly. But then Xerez is just kind of filling in for them. So Xerez is just kind of wasting some time in the Zipcaster up there because I don't know what else is going to come from that. And they're going to be able to camp that. Wasn't a lot. It feels like the plan there was just, hey, Xerez, go into a 1v4 and get something done. It doesn't feel like there was really a way to get any support up there. And I don't know how you would support someone up there, but I guess the only way to do it is to get Kyo around the backside at some point. And so Kyo is a little bit overextended on the right. I mean, that's not a terrible place to die, I guess. But then we lose Biscuit on the right because there's just no paint over there anymore. So they got really spread out, and I feel like they just got punished for spreading out too much and not really fighting together. Something happens to the shot in the middle there. Let's see. Oh, okay, it was Xerez. So there's that punishing for positioning errors thing. Xerez just kind of diving in on the left here, and Kyo tries to follow that up, but okay. So there, Xerez has to reposition to get a good angle on the dualies, and in that time, the dualies are able to take out Kyo and then back away. So, great, 1v2 there from the dualies. And then if Xerez tries to go in, then he's going to be overcommitted. And oh, but okay, Biscuit is able to take out the dualies for overextending there. So, same kind of mistake that FT Win made. But good follow-up from the Rapid. The Rapid's going to catch that too. So, good trading. And that should still go in favor of Fiesta, I would think, unless these... Oh, never mind. Kyo just says, no, we get the zone now. So it's a lot of like really smart trading where as soon as the enemy team commits to one thing, this actually reminds me a lot of League of Legends strategy. I've been watching League of Legends Worlds as that progresses, and a lot of that game is when the opponents win an advantage on one side, you try to get something done on the other side. So like they'll put 3 players up in the top lane, the top of the map, really far away from everything else, and just dive in under the turret and take out the helpless one player who's stuck there. But that means that the other team can do a similar kind of play on the bottom side, where there are, isolated players down there, and so you try to make something happen there. If they take an objective on the top side, you take an objective on the bottom side, and vice versa. So it kind of feels a little bit, like on a faster pace that's sort of the way that the game is progressing here, where an advantage is gained on the bottom side eventually, but then Kyo and Bursty come in from the top side and go, hey, nobody's watching the right side of the zone, so we just get to move in safely there, taking advantage of how Fiesta had to devote so many resources to that one side that now they were going to be exposed over here. So maybe that's part of their idea. Maybe that part of their idea is to encircle Fiesta so that when Fiesta tries to group up and brute force one part of the map, they kind of flow like water and go someplace else. So someone gets picked in the middle. Xerez is just kind of diving in there and running away. Getting a lot of attention and not dying. And wow, that was... I want to just watch what Xerez did there, because that doesn't seem like it should have worked. Okay, so... Oh, and there was an inkjet on him while this all was happening. Okay, so inkjet's over here, so he runs around the backside just to get away from the inkjet, and he's just running circles around that, and nobody's been able to follow him, including the inkjet's teammates. He gets one and gets... Cool. Alright. So, yeah, catching them being a little sluggish there. Biscuit's in a scary spot, but he's able to back away from that okay. And then I feel like if FT Win kind of pick a target here, if they either go after the shot or after the dualies down there, that they'd probably find them. It's a question of whether they know that they're there and if they can get the right angles. So Xerez able to disengage from the try. And he's zipping in now, so he's dead on the jump if he doesn't get any protection. But he's keeping everyone busy in the base. He actually gets one. Wild. Crazy. Not able to get that. Okay, there's an inkjet there. So, that's fine. But look at how much time that killed. Like, the game's already over. And that's really the whole goal. Like, you get into this kind of position where you've got enough control to start setting up, and, like, you can get jumps into mid and the other team can't. And this is lockout. Biscuit going in there stalls for long enough for them to get a play going on the top left. Kyo actually gets forced out on the right, so they could start getting the zone contested here, but nobody's really going for it. I think they're just trying to devote more energy to... Fiesta's honestly split. Like, some of them are going after Xerez, some of them are going after Kyo, but neither of those plays are going to work. Low ground Crab. That's going to be able to, I guess, Explo shot over the zone. I don't know why that got popped there. That was not high value at all. Maybe that was just like a panic, I'm getting rushed and I didn't realize there was someone there kind of Crab. Thank you so much for the raid, Triforce Comet. Welcome in, everybody. We are VOD reviewing the Grand Finals of 20XX. This is Game 1 of Set 2. We didn't do any of Set 1, so you haven't missed too much. Set 1 was kind of a blowout, and this set was a lot closer. There was both teams kind of felt like they had even footing at this point. So, so going back to it, so yeah, I'm trying to see like why the crab got popped in that particular spot. Okay, it looked like the Dooley's idea was, I'm going to be able to just get up onto left stack and use the crab from left stack. And then Kyo was like, hey, no, don't do that. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll use it from freezer instead. And then nothing really came of it. So wasted crab, 2 players chasing Xerez on the bottom side, which doesn't even end up panning out because he trades 1-for-1 in the 1v2. It's like able to catch the try here. And then in the meantime, the fight that is developed over there is all the way in their pit. So like Fiesta's just not getting control on any relevant area of the map. They're trying to go after the stacks only with one person and just trusting that their crab is going to be able to clear that, which it's not. And then they're devoting way too many resources to trying to fight Xerez, who's in a part of the map that doesn't let you shoot the zone. So that trade just wastes a whole ton of time. And now it's 3v3, but there are 8 ticks left, and FT Win can just paint the rest of the way out. Especially since one of those sources of paint is an inkjet that's not going to be putting down as much. I mean, it's a blaster. It's not going to be painting that much anyway, but like they've got the Zap, the T-Tech, and a Nautilus that Biscuit is getting like way more paint out of than I feel like a lot of people do. Like I'm not sure how one paints as much as Biscuit does with that weapon, but there's a lot that's been happening there, so... Yeah, I think the retake from Fiesta was very perplexing there. I don't really know what their objective was other than, ooh, hey, look at the Zipcaster, let's go shoot that. I wonder if maybe there was a game plan that was supposed to be developing there that fell apart, and so only the crab tank part of it actually materialized, and there were parts of that push that, if they had worked, the crab would have looked a lot smarter. But they really shut the shot down pretty hard in that game. Maybe I should just put in all of the codes at once. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just do them one at a time for now. So this one, for those of you who are playing along at home, or whatever, this is Game 2, Set 2. So if you want that code, then all you have to do is copy what's on screen, and you will have it. I got them from the streamer of 20XX, because I'm cool like that. Okay. There was a lot of umami zones at this tournament. It's not a map mode I've seen on a lot of map lists recently, so it was interesting to see how it plays out at top level. Okay, comps. Almost exactly the same for Fiesta, except they're swapping out their... Oh, God, what did they swap out? I am blanking so hard on what their comp was. Did they just have a Zap? I think they just had a Zap, right? Try Nouveau. Right. That's what it was. Oh my god, that took me way too long to remember. Okay. And then identical comp. It is zones again, so it makes sense that they would have something similar. So still going with the strikes. I'm sure Kyo is loving those bombs, so that's probably helping. And the fact that the strikes are going to get value just for, their ability to paint the zone and their ability to shove people off the zone. I totally respect it. Like, I think he's doing really well on that weapon, so it makes a lot of sense to run it. See how this goes. Writer here might be a response to the map mode, just because Tri-Slosher's so good on Mako Mart and they wanted to take advantage of that. It might also be a response to Biscuit's Nautilus and trying to bully it because you have the longer range to do that with. There is... Oh, wow, just... I feel like that might have just been a hard read from the Rapid that, like, he's probably going to come around the right side. Because, like, that's what I would do as a Stamper. That's just, like, a reasonable thing to try and do at first. Stamper, I think it caps that zone in 2 vertical slashes. It's kind of dumb. Because you've got so much range and enough width that it's just going to snag all of that. So... who won the set? Spoilers. If you really do want to know, the VODs are out there on Dapple Productions. But it was close. It was close. It went to a game 5. I'll tell you that much. So Xerez immediately goes down. So they're just going to completely lose control of left zone. And so whatever they're going to do, it's going to be on the right zone. But they don't want to overcommit to that because they don't want to take the big fight. So... great play from Biscuit there to punish an overextension. And so that's going to win them a way back in because now they've got all 4 members and they also have some strikes to move with. So hopefully those are going to go out soon. Yep, there they go. Xerez is just being a menace on the left side, keeping everybody out completely. Tries to dive a little too deep there, though. This does seem like a really difficult map to play Zipcaster on, specifically. I don't know if that was what was going on there or what, but... yeah, and the Inkjet from top mid is too good here. Giving the Inkjet elevation and the ability to see both sides of the map, like, just really strong for Inkjet in general there. And then once they get further up, there are some other ledges that they can use, so... strong choice, and it pays off in a big way there. Now they're trying to chase the zap out, see if they can get that cooler. They're not going to be able to, and the cooler's going to go out here. I was worried that maybe the Rapid would be trying to target the cooler there, but it's a little too far back for that. They're just letting them have their own dome. A little bit respectful. Xerez goes down, but they're able to collapse on the Rapid. Now, are they too bunched up is the question. Are they going to get kind of snuffed out here? Yeah. Yeah, I was worried about that. That looked like a prime position for some Slayer weapon to get an angle and get in. So, quick triple, and now they're in a lot of trouble. I've been saying for some time, I think that people don't give zones enough credit for its volatility. For, like, the fact that it does really take very few mistakes to just lose the game immediately. The score ticks down very fast. And you don't have to be with the objective to be scoring. So when you push past the zone, even once they win the fight, they haven't stopped the scoring. It's like right up there with Rainmaker for quick KOs. So Zip is going to go in, and this just kind of needs to get a miracle special push of some kind. Why are they not painting the zone? They have the members to sit back and paint the zone and win the game. Okay, they get 1, they get 2. Okay, so they decided to take the fight, and they were able to hold on just long enough. And then it's just Biscuit versus 3. Biscuit is doing an absolute amazing job trying to hold, but it is a Nautilus against the Snipe Rider. It doesn't have the paint output. So, it felt like FT Win was just never able to get a fight that they were able to execute the way they wanted. Like, every time they were trying to start something, someone went down early, and it just all collapsed from there, and all it took was, like, one high-value special from Fiesta to shove them all out. That didn't feel like a great game for FT Win. R7 HP. Oop. SC. So this is going to be game 3. EMV F6CT. Thoughts on giving E-Leader Burst Bomb Kraken? If we give the E-Leader the Burst Bomb, all is lost. We can't do that. Okay. So we've got a comp switch up from both sides, which makes sense because we're no longer on zones, and this is a different map. Still got the shot and the dualies, but now we've got the Tri-Nouveau back, and we've got a Jet Squelcher, a V-Jet. So they're going to be trying to use this jet to... My guess is like they can use it aggressively to create pushes, and they can use it maybe defensively to win fights. I retain a certain amount of skepticism about the Ink Vac. It is definitely significantly better now that it got the buffs. But I still see some of the, like, pacing problems, where, like, it needs to be used in a very, very specific way, like, right after the fight has started, to bait the enemy team into committing to it. Because if the enemy team isn't forced to commit to it, then it's basically useless until the shot comes out. And it can't move very fast in that time, so it's not like it can be sticky. It's not like it can force you to commit to it by just continuing to take space while you move around it or run away from it. It's kind of like... it's just a little slow. And so there are definitely some ways that I think some glaring weaknesses in it that, if exploited, make it difficult to play at the top level. And that's tip-top level. That's like the level we're playing at right now, unfortunately for Fiesta. Because if I remember correctly, a lot of these Vacs get shut down by Xerez. And then Kyo has switched off the T-Tech, which appears to just kind of be a zones weapon. Makes sense. 96 Deco doesn't have as much pain output. But what it does have is Kraken Cheese, if they want to use that. It's always nice to have the option, even if you don't plan on needing it. And they also, Kyo, it's just kind of a good weapon for him because he's trying to dive so hard that this is a weapon that actually gives you tools to dive and not die for it. He can just, like, do a Kyo play, but then be like, oh, I'm in danger, Kraken, and get out of the Kyo play without going down. He doesn't have to trade with this weapon. And I think that might be part of why we were seeing Melon using it much earlier in the game. That's part of it was that Melon was just like a 52 gal player from K52 from Splatoon 2, and so he was just kind of used to that sort of using the wall and the gal kind of thing. But also the survivability of the Kraken lets him dive deeper than he normally would be able to. So that's my interpretation of all of that. And then what did we... is that Biscuit that we put on the shot? Yeah, it's Biscuit on the shot. Okay. Yeah, you can put Biscuit on whatever, and he will be one of the best players on Earth. Okay. I might want a different camera angle. We'll see if this works out. 20XX is a big deal, right? Like, I'm not 100% up on comp news, but I had not heard of it until like 5 hours ago. 20XX was a major. These are some of the better teams that you're gonna find anywhere. Now, granted, the on the Japanese side, both Fiesta and Comet X were pickups, but that's also kind of just how Japanese competitive play works. There aren't a lot of steady teams there. A lot of major tournaments are just for players who decided to play with each other for that weekend. So this is, pretty close to the top level of play that you're going to see from Japan. And then, the Kyo, Biscuit, Bursty, Like, those are all players who have been some of the best in North America for a very long time. Xerez is absolutely no joke. These guys are all just some of the best on Earth, and we got to see them play each other. So, for that reason, it is significant, yes. Someday I'm going to start a cafe and sell a food item called Kraken Cheese. There's literally going to be one customer ever who shows up to your restaurant who's going to think that that's funny, and then nobody else is going to get it. I'm sorry to burst your bubble there. Okay, so Zuka just takes out Kyo before anything happens. It's like, you do have the wall to try and protect against that sort of thing, but also this probably gets popped pretty quick. It's just like, you can't have the wall up constantly. You can't have it out on reaction. Okay, so it gets charged there, and they swim over here, pop it. There's not a lot of warning that that's coming. Biscuit, though, able to make something of this with a shark, takes out the jet. Unfortunately, Bursty gets caught retreating as well. If Xerez is able to survive and Biscuit is able to win this 1v1, then they might have a chance, but no, Biscuit goes down. Xerez does win. So they trade back evenly enough out of a bad situation that there's no major advantage for Fiesta right now, but they do have map control. They need to clear this shot out pretty quick, or else this could become a problem. Okay, they do get them. And now Fiesta has to back up and play scared. Crab comes out, takes out Kyo. Man, Kyo has just been getting, like, one-tapped by a bunch of specials this game. He has not gotten to play for, like, 30 seconds. Great play from Xerez. Gets 2, just doing Stamper things. And then is going to zip up onto the plat. And as long as, like, Biscuit and Kyo get up there and pinch here, this should be delayed wipe. Why doesn't that happen? So Biscuit does get up there, but okay. So I guess there's not enough zoning pressure that Xerez is putting out to be able to stop both players from retreating. Alright, that makes sense. Little bit out of sync there. Just the tiniest bit where, like, Xerez is hitting them, and then Biscuit is hitting them, and then Kyo is hitting them, whereas if they hit them all at the same time, that's good. Just didn't quite have the speed to catch up, I think. And so, oof. Quite the stagger there. Kyo dead again. Despite using the Kraken to get out. Zuka gets 1. And that again is going to stop them from getting up on plat. So, a couple of, like, big fight losses, but what FT1 has been doing really well is rallying around their plat and not letting Fiesta get up on it. And so then when that happens, Fiesta is kind of backing up, trying to put a crab on top mid, but then from there, they're kind of running into the mid-range pressure and just randomly getting picked. Kyo down again. This time Xerez is only able to trade 1, but then the dualies are kind of diving in, and there's nobody really there to help them. That seems a little off. Like, let's see here. I guess maybe they're just thinking, oh, they can get this one player, not realizing there are 2 there. But, like, where else would they be? That's 1 down. There's the trade. And now they're trying to go after Bursty. But also, they're carrying a power clam. So I guess maybe the idea is I can kill the zap and then I can run the power clam in. That doesn't happen. And it's like, the try is still not on plat. The jet is not going to be able to help at that angle. So, Bursty overcommits. Biscuit. Yeah, that was... I guess that maybe they didn't see the jumps coming in. Because that was definitely 2v3 at that point in time. They needed to win a little sooner. Okay, and then the vac shot gets Xerez. Kyo gonna be in a lot of trouble if he doesn't back up now. Gets a trade, which is honestly the best you could hope for in that situation. And they still hold on plat. They're really good at playing their angles and just keeping their mechanics up in that particular hold. Because, like, that's kind of hard to do. It's once, especially the opponents get control of the top of spinner. I want to back it up a little bit and see exactly what the plan was going to be for how to take plat for them here. So they're trying to... Okay, they're vacking here, which is why that push falls apart. Wow, it's so hard to see the vac from the overhead. I thought I would have been able to see that. Okay, so it looks like the plan here is get vac, pair that with a special, and then get up the ramp that way. Yeah, they're just like, nope, I don't like these bombs. Get rid of them, please. Thank you. It does work for winning that fight. I will say, I think they probably would have won that fight without the vac, because they had 3 members there against the opponent's 2, but it made it a lot more consistent, and it got a pick on the back end. So it worked. Okay. And then they're just trying too hard to run forward and get the clam in the basket, not realizing that they didn't have time for that. They're also all running in the same direction. Like, nobody's clearing the right side, it looks like, of the spinner before they go in. So, FT1's just kind of able to use that for free. Because that's a cooler. So they've got people ready to stop this already. Yeah, they just never get anyone up on top of the spinner. Far be it from me to make suggestions to one of the best teams on Earth, but I feel like something like a 52 gal works really well for exactly the problem that Fiesta is having here, where the wall lets you move forward to paint for yourself, so that then you have paint forward onto the plat and you can get through that choke point. And then it's really good for holding down specifically the right side of spinner and keeping people off the top of it. And then once people are off the right side of spinner and you've got firepower from like your backline on the left, then you can put someone over the top and you've got a pretty secure hold on it. Here it kind of feels like they're just trying to run it down on the left side, not respecting the tacticooler and running into resistance. Okay, so we're going to crack and cheese here and just get some points on the board. They're not able to get that, but that's probably fine. Quick pick on the dualies for dropping too early onto plat. Zuka goes out, and that's going to force them back, which gives Zerez access to the top of spinner. And it's like, notice how the first place that FT Win goes when they get up there is the right side of the spinner. They're clearing that out first. And the reason that they got up so easily was that the Zuka cleared all of Fiesta back to the basket so that the right side there was uncontested. Biscuit using the super high ground up there. Not really finding a lot of success, because what's really happening here is a crack and cheese play. They're going to get that power clam in, and then Kyo's going to die. And they're going to get 80. And that's basically how the crack and cheese play goes. It's that you lose 2 players, the other 2 players are outnumbered, and you get 20 points. So, punished quite well. Love that flank angle from Zerez. That's very annoying to have to keep watching when you're trying to push forward, because it's like, clearly the focal point of Fiesta's push is going to be the enemy ramp. Like, they've been staging everything from right behind ramp, and then, like, popping the vac and trying to get up ramp that way. And with Zerez coming from the left, it's like behind them and to the left, and that's really awkward for them to look at. So he just finds someone not looking, gets a second one in the meantime, and now that's mid-control. Although there's a Zuka, and that might have something to say about it. Okay, at least this time the Zuka only trades. So there's a crab out, and Zeres might have something to say about that too, yes. Again, they're not watching the left too well. Zeres has come out of there twice in a row and gotten picks both times. And now, again, like, Zeres going for spinner. He's clearing spinner. Like, this is... That's the first thing that you have to do on this map to get control of the plat. And it feels like right now FT Win understand that and Fiesta don't. Or they're acting on it anyway. They have the tools to act on it. Chris takes that out. It's like, again, Zeres is immediately targeting the right side. And they just kind of walk their way in. They haven't exactly gotten control of the space. They're just like, we're going to walk in and win the fight here. They have a Kraken. Not a lot of follow-up because it took so many resources just to dive and get the fight win. So the most bursty here, this was a way more disciplined play than I will ever be capable of. That's maybe giving up on myself too early, but Bursty's like, I'm going to get some more clams to score in here. And then he's like, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to flee. Set up for the next push. Gets a power clan made already. I guess with a team that's going to be playing for Crack and Cheese so often, that's not necessarily a bad idea. Just some long-range poke takes out the dualies. They overextend somehow. Hard to see from this angle, but I don't think I'm too worried about that. Flank from left is making them look away, but I don't know that that gives Fiesta a way in yet. Yeah, they overcommit into this. Oh. There's a splatter shot at base. Alright, so I actually love that Kraken. Not because it did anything, except hold Fiesta back. Because this is a moment where if the rest of Fiesta is allowed to collapse on the members of FT Win who are at basket, they've just given up so much map control. But because the Kraken was in the way for even some amount of time, they're not out of mid yet. And Kyo just jumps out safely. Now they've got all four members in defensive positions. And they still lost a lot of ground for the shot getting in there. But the Kraken did a lot to cushion. Kyo's in a little bit deep there. Zeres dropped out right, and Kyo went in really deep. And then Bursty and Biscuit were too far back to help Kyo. So Kyo needs to play safely enough there. But again, they're not taking the other side of plat. So they're just funneling into this one angle where they can approach the basket from. And they're dying every time they try to run in for it. Yeah, like, the position that FT Win's in right now should... Okay, well, I mean, I guess besides for the Kraken that's going into their base. But, like, just looking at the defensive formation they have around their own basket, this position should not be as strong as it was during this game. You can get high ground from taking control of Spinner. You can get around the left side of Spinner, around the right side of Spinner, and pinch those players in a way that they don't have the advantage in the fight. They should need to be able to, like, at least take some high ground or keep control of Spinner or something to be able to keep their plat as well as they are. But they just haven't been challenged at every angle. And now there's just a Crack and Cheese jump that's going to come in. It's going to score. It's not going to end the game, though. They mistimed that slightly, because if that goes in now, then the game is over. But the Tri-Nouveau, if I remember correctly, they're just trying to, like, jump across from the mid-spinner to get to plat. Which, like, it's overtime, it's like a desperation play, but also that whole plat is orange, so you're dead. Let me see how this works here. you just thinking there's nobody watching? Like, that everyone's out further in front? Like, I don't know. They haven't seen anybody. So they're just going to try and run it in. Like, this is desperation mode at this point, and, you know, no blame whatsoever for them all going down, because they just have to get forward and try to do something. There's no time. Which, again, I don't like about Clan Blitz Overtime. I've been complaining about this since, like, whenever they reverted it in Splatoon 2. I think Clan Blitz Overtime should have stayed as long as it ever was. That it being cut this short just puts you in desperation mode immediately. I'm not a fan. So. Alright. So, NA looking pretty good on that game. At least by comparison. Let's get game 4 going here. So this is going to be R26M. LWCO. WMEN. And TPHY. All right. Yes, I do use light theme. Cry more. Okay. So, I think this was a comp that they ran earlier. Was it for game 1? I think this is the game 1 comp. Yeah, this was their Zones Mako comp. For Fiesta. And then for FT Win, they're keeping the shot and they're keeping the 96 Deco. Bursty and Zeras have not been changing. So that's Shot, Crab, Cooler, and Inkjet. The Inkjet goes crazy in this game. Inkjet on this map mode has just always been strong. Definitely recommend picking it up if you can figure out a way to fit it into the comp. And then versus Cooler, Zip, Kraken, and Zuka. So, not a ton of displacement on the part of FT Win. Like, it's not an immediately easy thing. Oh, they have no AoE either. Ooh, that's weird. FT Win don't have a great way of clearing the tower. Like, they have to either hit shots with their main weapons that are mostly, like, straight line of sight. I guess they've got a burst bomb. One burst bomb. But, like, other than that, it's like Zuka can kind of clear it. Kraken can kind of clear it if it doesn't get shot off the side. Like, it's definitely not as easy as press button, get player off tower. Like, if you have a rapid blaster that's aiming at the tower, nobody is on the tower. The Tri-Slosher main weapon can get people off the tower. Crab Tank's not bad at it from, like, long range. Yeah, it's probably not the first choice you're going to, even for the dualies, but still, like, the AoE weapons definitely give a lot more tower clearing power to Fiesta. I wonder if that plays into this at all. Because we've been through 3 games, and FT Win have won 2 of them, and there's a game 5. So, logically, we know who's going to win this. So, FT Win setting up pretty balanced here. They've got Biscuit watching right just to make sure nothing crazy happens and maybe have Zuka angles. And then the main fight's going to be going down on the left stack if FT Win have their say in it. And then Fiesta really grouping up pretty hard. Looks like Zeras went down to some kind of poke, maybe a bomb or something. so the Zuka gets Bursty trapped, but Bursty just jumps out. Biscuit's in a lot of trouble. Okay, gets out. Kyo goes down on the right-hand side. Fight's going down in multiple places. This feels a little messy right now. Like, I can't really... My eye is not drawn to where FT Win are trying to fight. It feels like they're just trying to, like, take the 1v1s that they think they can win. Okay, yeah, Biscuit tries to get some Zuka shots off on some unsuspecting players there, but they play defense really well. And then Kyo, in the meantime, while the Zuka's going off left, is pushing right stack. So there's not a lot of, like, coordinated firepower here. Does get a trade. Okay, and when Xerez gets that one and Biscuit trades that one, they're kind of just winning on their 1v1s right now. They're just taking a 1v1 and trusting that they're going to win more of them than the other team is. Because there wasn't a ton of working together there. There was, you know, Bursty was helping Xerez, but, like, that's the only way a support is supposed to get involved in the fight anyway. They lost Biscuit, they lost Kyo. They might cheese for first check. No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. Not with Bursty close to a cooler there. So it was really interesting to me that Fiesta was putting the rapid decos specifically over the top left early on. That, like, it feels really exposed and vulnerable of a weapon, just because the main weapon's so slow, but, like, the range and the ability to get the inkjet might be worth it. But I remember the first few minutes of this are just scrappy fights that don't go anywhere until it finally gets broken up open in, like, a minute, with like 2 minutes left or something like that. So someone tries to push right side of plat while the inkjet's going over the top, but they go down quickly enough that it just ends up being a 1-for-1 trade, except Fiesta used the special and lost somebody else in the meantime. So, like, yeah, they got lead, but they didn't get checkpoint, and it's resetting. Well, they got a fight win, though, out of it. I do feel like FT Win overextended into them there. Fiestas have been playing very grouped up. And so, while FT Win has been taking advantage of that to encircle them at times, they also do run the risk of just, like, randomly going down a lot if they get too close to that body of 4 players. And I totally respect FT Win trying to push the right stack here, because you've got to clear that out so that they can't get a foothold in mid, but at this point it's too late. Biscuit doesn't have the backup. Bursty's having to back up a little bit to get out of the way. Kyo's still on plat, so there's really nobody here to follow up with this. And Kyo goes in, seeing Biscuit fighting and trying to help, but now he's too close. So he's going to have to play pretty safe and jump out. But they keep catching this dualies out, and that's at least a foothold for them. Like, they can get the dualies as they're trying to come up the right side. Honestly, that might just be worth it for Fiesta, though, because they've scored a bunch of points, they've gotten through the checkpoint in that time, and now nobody's in position on bats to stop the tower. So maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's the whole point. In any case, Kyo is behind them now, so that's fun. And everybody dies. Yeah, if they're gonna be okay with losing the right side, they also need to be ready for the flank through mid. If they're gonna let Kyo get in that close, then it doesn't matter that the crab's ready. Woo-hoo-hoo, okay. And then once they see that the Kraken isn't chasing, they get up on top of this. And now, what do you do? You had cover, but now I'm on top of that cover. So trying to make something happen on the right here. Try is going to go in and take out Kyo. That happened clean, so now FT Win's going to have to scramble and waste time, which they're doing pretty successfully. Like, nothing's really happening there. The inkjet went off into the air. They were like, okay, well, wait for a special. Okay, we got the special now, and then Xerez killed them. right as they were rising. So just great stall from FT Win. Just like, okay, make us move. And that did not happen. FT Win were not made to move. They, in fact, got a delayed wipe. So the challenge here, as I talked about plenty on the analyst desk already, is second checkpoint. Second checkpoint, the tower has to go like all the way uphill into the high ground of the enemy team. So you really need full control of that high ground, or else the tower just gets run at and killed. It's so easy to splat the tower rider if you let the enemy team have that part. So you need to just kind of run your front line up into their high ground somehow to get control of it. And once you have control of that, then you get the next like 40 points for free. So that's a really critical part of the game. Biscuit is going up really far, which is kind of what they need to seize control of bats, but I don't feel like they have the support from the rest of the team right now, unless the Zip goes in like now, or the Kraken goes in like now. So the Kraken does go in, Biscuit's able to kite back, and this should win them control of the top left. Zeres goes down, but that's not in the most important part of the map. They can rotate Biscuit down, and Kyo is now in control of the bats. Oh, but the Zuka takes out everyone on the tower, so nobody's riding. Oh, that's such a tragedy for them. That probably is second checkpoint and lead and a lot more if those two players just stay alive. But that Zuka just shuts the push down by itself. It's crazy how many things need to go exactly right for an offensive Splatoon 2 push or Splatoon 3 push to happen. Like, they had so many elements work so well. They got a near wipe, they got bats, they got a 96 deco set up on bats with a wall so that nobody could approach bats. They had the right, they had people watching the plat as well, so no one could get to the tower. Like, that's like 3 or 4 major macro level steps that the team had to accomplish to get to that point, and then Zuka just says no. Oh, I need to pay attention to when the ads are coming on Twitch. Because you're just going to, like, miss some amount of time from what I'm saying. I'm not sure I like those very much. I'm leaving them on at, like, a relatively low setting just to see what kind of revenue it actually generates. And if it ends up being worth something, then I'll probably still keep them just because I need to keep the lights on, and it's becoming harder and harder with YouTube revenue. But if it ends up, like, just not being that much money, I'll probably just shut them off because they're worse for the experience, and you're just going to lose viewers that way anyway. So, anyway. Okay, wait. What happened in that fight? I was looking away. And hey there, Jamie. Here we go. So, Inkjet and Crab go out. So the idea here is for the Crab to limit someone's movement, and then the Inkjet to spot them and, like, take them out. Which is great. But then Zuka gets the try to trade back, so that's 2 specials for 1 right now. And then the Crab is forced to play defense, but... Okay, it's forced to play defense, and then it wins because nobody's there to help Kyo. So that was maybe a little bit over-aggressive from Kyo. Maybe the idea was, like, just get the Crab to stop from attacking our plat so that we can attack the tower? I don't know. 2v4. I'm not sure I like the idea of attacking the tower very much. Well, they got control in time to be able to stop any more points from going out anyway. That's a great bomb that got thrown by, I think, Bursty out there. If you throw the bomb on the tower path right before the tower gets to it. The bomb doesn't get deleted. It just explodes from underneath, and while it doesn't like hit people who are standing on the tower, it does paint their feet immediately. So all of a sudden they can't move, and maybe your teammates can follow up. But FC Win is playing scared because they know that there's a Zuka on the way, and they don't want to get... Well, that happens anyway. Ooh. Yeah, so they're not really following up on the Zuka too well. They played really scared on the plat there, waiting for the specials to come out, and then died to the specials anyway. So it's the worst of both worlds, where you're giving up a ton of space and letting them get up onto bats for free, while also not actually preventing yourself from dying. So Kyo's Kraken will probably stall for a little bit here, but they do not have the numbers advantage to be able to... Okay, maybe they do. Maybe everything just falls apart for Fiesta. Okay, why did that work? So Biscuit is the only person who's in position to guard top right. Granted, it's just the shot looking in that direction right now. There's also a Zuka in play. Oh, but they go down. Okay. So it's Kyo, it's Zeres from the top ropes. And Zeres goes down here, I think. Yeah. So this is Kyo crackening into a 1v4 with Bursty back in the base and everyone else respawning. How does this not go anywhere? Okay, Kyo gets one with the Kraken, and then another jumps out. Oh, no, that was the Inkjet? Yeah, that must have been the Inkjet location. So the reason the Inkjet would be there would probably be that they popped the Inkjet from the rail, and so that's where it resets to after the Inkjet's done, to the point of origin of the rail. So with the Rapids Inkjet being gone, they just get removed from play. Kyo gets one, so that's a two-player swing, effectively. And now everyone just kind of flows in. That is one disadvantage of the Inkjet. Like, you are going to, once it's done, land further down on the map, like further back, potentially out of position, to keep the push going. Alright, and FT Win just kind of swarm in, catch some people in 2v1s. This should be a trade back. Yes, 3v2 now. Oh, man, that's... You see that Zuka shot? Did you see that Zuka shot that Biscuit just did? That was nice. So, there are times where I shoot a Zuka and I hit a wall and it's just dumb. There are other times where I shoot a Zuka and it hits a wall and I'm doing it for a reason. And that reason is that sometimes you don't have the right angle to hit something that's pretty far away, unless the bottom half of the shot just hits the wall. But you can still get the third spiraling projectile over the top. So I think it's this shot right... No, not this shot. That one's normal. It's this shot next. You'll see, like, two of those shots hit the wall, but then one of them goes over, and it's, like, super close to hitting someone. That's a thing that, like, people will do on purpose, just because, again... It's line of sight enough. Like, yes, there's a parabolic arc, but it's not something you can just, like, fall off shot someone with, right? Sometimes you really do need to just get that straight on angle, and the only way that you can get that angle is by aiming the bottom half of the shot at the wall directly. Okay. Now, I don't like FT Win's chances of getting second checkpoint here, simply because they don't have anybody up on bats yet. The tower is frontlining at the moment, so they need to get some kind of control before they're going to be able to do anything with this. What they have managed to do, though, is bait the Zuka out, and that might have been the plan all along. It might have been the idea that we just move the tower forward and see if they bite too early. Because now they're starting to go back in, now that the Zuka's out, and they're not as afraid of that. Biscuit stalls the tower there. Bursty's going to get up on top. Biscuit's going to move up. And the fight's being taken over on the right. But there is someone sharking the tower here. Oh, no, they might get two. Oh, God. Okay. If that's a bucket of any further length, then Biscuit and Bursty probably both die. But they were able to back off from the tower in time. So, just a little bit early, honestly, on the Tri-Slosher to go after them. I guess with the points being where they were, it was maybe a little bit too dangerous to wait for longer. So maybe the clock forced their hand. But now that they've given themselves away, if something can move them, or they just drop down and die, then there's a chance. But no. That game was very close. Neither team was really able to capitalize on any of the advantages that they got. Neither team ever really got control of the enemy bats. Or when they did, something else fell apart on the tower behind them. I don't want to call it sloppy, because the reason it's falling apart is the enemy team is really, really good. But it was definitely not smooth from either side. Okay, and then we close with game 5 here. Ew, 3D? Gross. At least there aren't any ink brushes constantly trying to rush basket. Don't worry. That falls off well before this level of play. That's not even working super well in, like, S rank for a lot of people. Okay. Here we are on Hacklefish. So, same comp from Fiesta, same comp from FT Win. I'm going to go and use the restroom, and then we will begin. All right. Wait, Jem, you missed the perfect time to run ads. True. I'm not a smart man. I just started saying things on the internet and people started listening. It was weird. All right. So last game here, this is Rainmaker Hagglefish. I like the crab pick. I think that's really strong on this map mode. Kraken can be pretty nasty here. There are a lot of really narrow passageways that you have to force through. So getting someone to be able to push through that can really make it a lot easier for someone like Biscuit to move in. Xerez is going to be coming from some random angle anyway, so it doesn't really matter there. But Biscuit and the Rainmaker in particular, probably going to be important to squeeze through like that. Inkjet is also very strong here, so makes perfect sense why Rapid Deco is going out. Yeah. More coolers for Team NA, and that might play a role here. But... okay. So, FT win, lose pop, which I guess is kind of suggested by their weapons. Maybe a little bit of slowness there, but then everyone's just going to farm for specials before anything happens, which is the Hagglefish way. The specials come out significantly earlier for Fiesta here, and now we're having to dodge things. Biscuit is lucky to be alive. Xerez is not alive. Okay, Xerez is back, and they didn't really capitalize on that very much. They're trying to push someone through on the left now, but nobody's going with them through mid. So Kyo could potentially just win this with range. It's taking entirely too many members on FT Win to find this one splatter shot. And because the splatter shot has been able to stall for this long, now they're just going to pick up the Rainmaker and overwhelm Bursty, and nobody's actually in their way. Oh, God. Wait, okay, I need to see this splatter shot's angle. How in the world do you win that situation? So the Zuka, that was what got Xerez. And then they just kind of... okay, they paint it and then they drop later, but they drop at the same time that Kyo's going for it. And they're getting Zooked, too. Just kind of scramble, and... yeah, I don't like how FT Win just kind of all clumped up right here, going after the one player. So now it's literally just Bursty. And they're going to dunk for free. And they're going to get control of Plat. Oh, man. Oh, no. And they're dropping in a little bit too eagerly. The jump across isn't the end of the world. That's a beatable push if that's all that happens. The Inkjet was a really smart move here, but they're going to have trouble like popping and getting the Rainmaker picked back up again before FT Win is back. There should be stuff in the way here. 25. Oh, but Biscuit doesn't get anything and goes all the way in, and now it's a numbers disadvantage. It's just Kyo and Bursty. They get to go really close now. Oh. So it was the fight on the right that started all this, but then from here... FC Win is like... I don't like how little paint they're putting down before they move up. Because look at how little room Bursty has to move now. They know he has to move to that side, and so they're pre-firing that, and he goes down. They're not, like, setting up their drops for themselves well enough. They're only getting, like, the line of paint out in front of them that they want to use, but then they don't have the ability to backtrack or go in a different direction once they get threatened. So they just lose Biscuit for rushing out from spawn a little bit too quickly. And now Kyo and Bursty are going to get overwhelmed. It's really, honestly, well played that they don't even get the KO here. Like, Kyo definitely came in clutch to even save the game. Ugh. Ooh, it hurts to lose both of those players. It's going to slow you down a lot getting into mid. You're going to have to fight for your own court. So Kyo, right side peek there. Oh, but backs up into a bomb that he didn't see. Xerez. I like that he's getting the attention of 2 players here. It's giving FT1 a lot of time. And they try to group everybody up there and then use the Zuka. It doesn't actually catch anybody, but I see the idea. Now we're getting dived. They're trying to use, like, suppressive fire to prevent FT Win from holding their side of mid. So Kyo is going to be able to just get back in off this. So it's right here that, like, they realize there's a lot of FT Win players right there, and so they're trying to, like, split them up and isolate them. But what happens is FT Win just, like, goes and takes every other position that is available and ends up encircling, if anything, the players that they end up fighting against. Great 2v1 on the back end from Biscuit and Kyo, and now Xerez and Bursty are up against the dualies here. It's just like, there aren't enough Fiesta players looking at this. They don't get to win the fight if they don't move up into range to shoot their weapons at FT Win. I'm not sure how much I like the idea to move it left. There was definitely already someone watching, and I think there was already the information to know that there was someone watching. You know, it might just be that their game plan is to go left because they want to, like, use the Kraken to clear it out or something. Or they want to make one player flanking around the right side work really well. But, like, there's already a bomb being thrown at them here. Like, they know that there's someone watching this. And there's just nothing that they can do about that. Kyo goes in, and, like, this works if we're dunking and Biscuit and Xerez are able to be over there. But Kyo's just kind of isolating himself the further he goes in now, and he has to leave. He might even die to the pop on the way out. Okay, no, Xerez and Biscuit come over to help with that. That's good awareness on their part, or maybe Kyo is just yelling at them. Who knows? Okay, so the Zuka gets one, so that's going to create an opportunity to get first check for sure. Easy peasy. And Xerez gets one on the way in before going down, so now there's no pressure on right, and we have to watch that, so Kyo's rotating out. And again, really, really tightly clumped for Fiesta. Like, there are a lot of players, like, right on top of each other there, which feels kind of dangerous, but also makes it so that if, like, Biscuit runs in alone like that, he just gets obliterated. Kyo is going all the way into the base, and that's enabling FT Win to get the pop, so that's at least buying some time. But they need to get to a position where they have advantage at some point, and that's not the way they're going to get it, unless Kyo just randomly gets 3. Even trades. And this really goes in Fiesta's favor. Like, they're happy to just stall this out and, like, keep this steady diet of crabs and Zukas in the way of FT Win, so that they're randomly getting picks every now and then, often enough that FT Win can't get something going. It might be that they're, like, catching on to how FT Win is trying to encircle them, and so they're just grouping up in very defensive patterns and waiting for FT Win to push, and then eating whatever player ends up too close to them. Okay, I love the play for FT Win here to kind of sneak their way into mid with 3 members. Like, that play... It's really common for a play like that to happen in solo queue by yourself, where you're like, oh, well, you know, if my opponent is threatening behind me, then I can just move forward toward them and they'll be surprised, because why would I do that? And that's a terrible idea. But if 3 people are doing it all at once, it's a brilliant idea. So Cooler goes out. That's another big part of this, that they're not afraid to die. So Kyo gets an angle over there. That frees up Biscuit to move through mid, and so now Biscuit gets into the front line, distracts people enough for Bursty to get one, Zera's trades, and Kyo can clean up on the backside. Beautifully played. Everybody, that's all intuitive. Like, I don't think that any of that was like a game plan they came up with. That's just like, okay, this guy is looking at my teammate, so I can shoot them now. Okay, so this position is now free, so I'm going to move up into that and see what I can do from here. You know, oh, there are 2 players here, and this is a defensive stronghold we need to break, then I'm going to get their attention and then run away. And all of them are just relying on those, like, kind of basic, fundamental ideas of how to play fights. They're trying to keep the momentum going by getting the Kraken in, and they also put the Zipcaster over. I don't know how well that's going to work, because now it's only 1 player who's left to defend the Rainmaker carrier. There's the dualies pushing in from the front. There's the Zuka that's just sitting way too far back to totally be threatened here. Yeah, it gets someone before the Zip can get it. So I don't know that they're going to be able to hold on to this push. Oh, definitely not with the Inkjet out. That kills it. Now they have to wait for all of their members to jump in, and by then all of Fiesta will be back in too. Okay, they're just going to rotate it over to the left now. They're just going to go fast and try and catch them not rotating fast enough. That Rainmaker shot is also really good because it's trying to stop Fiesta from being able to rotate over when they actually do need to get there. They're like, if you're not going to rotate fast enough to already be past this point, I'm going to slow you down even more. But I feel like this kind of depends on there being a flank coming in or on Kyo getting a special off at some point, because otherwise they're just putting themselves at even lower ground and having to fight uphill even more. If they can get up that ramp underneath the glass, then this is a really strong push because it's hard to stop at that point. But the idea here depends on them being able to get that far first, and that's where it's really easy to get stopped. So they need a plan. They need like a Zuka pick, a Kraken push. They need to just win a couple fights. They need Zerez to get a crazy push in on the right. They do manage to kite someone back, but like look at where the splatter shot's at. How do you get by with the splatter shot in that position? Okay. So they're able to trade, which slows things down, but then there's a crab tank in the way. And this is why you stagger your specials, so that you have one every time you need it, instead of 4 at once, and then there are 3 times where you need one and don't have one. They need to get some paint out for Bursty to be able to get up that ramp. Because otherwise this shot is just going to drop down on them as Kyo and Biscuit move up. Yeah. And that's just going to fall apart. Okay, one last chance for NA here, but it's not looking good. And they're going to rotate it over to the left-hand side. This is pretty typical to try and get it towards this side because the way to get the Rainmaker out of here is way more difficult and way more time-consuming. So it's going to take FT Win a lot longer to get towards goal if they drop it left here. Now, it's possible that maybe what they could have gone for is to try and keep the Rainmaker alive instead of trying to put it in a difficult position. It is a little bit easier to push if it's down there on the right-hand side because it has fewer avenues out. But it's not the easiest thing to push in there either, especially with the rapid watching. So I think this is pretty smart. They need to get a pick on the Rainmaker, and they have 15 seconds to do it. They probably don't have time to farm specials. And everyone just goes down trying to get through mid. That's a really good rotation from Fiesta there, just recognizing where FT Win was trying to come out from. Nobody did go to the right. I think if one person goes to the right and draws some attention, this may be a more successful play. But since they only had to look in one direction, game is over. Yeah, honestly, neither side really able to put together successful pushes there. Like, I think it might be that like a little more game planning would go a long way for either team there. Where like, you know, we're going to use this to get here and then use this to get here and move. It feels very improvisational in some places, and we saw like there were significantly weaker pushes because little things ended up disrupting the plans. Um, but one of the big takeaways from this tournament in general, you know, across all of the matches, was that Tacticooler is still the king of specials. You definitely need to have one on your team, and at one point, I think it was Fiesta very successfully ran double Tacticooler. Kind of overwhelming. It was against Jackpot. I don't remember if it was Fiesta. I think it was. It might have been Comet X. I am trying to remember. Because it's like, oh, it was the team with the Rapid. And then I'm like, wait, they both have Rapids. I don't remember. But they kind of blitzed in and took out Q a lot using the double coolers. So they had like almost double the cooler uptime because there were fewer coolers from Jackpot and there were two of them. So, you know, you look at that and you're like, okay, but do they have the specials to be able to hold? Well, they were winning fights with the coolers when they went in, and they were being punished less for losing fights because the other team was less likely to have a cooler. So that was kind of how that was working. That seems very niche. That seems like something that you're not going to want to run everywhere, but that was something that we saw. And, you know, we still saw, you know, every single game here. Granted, there was a try nouveau, which is something that you're... that, I think, is still... Yeah. Granted, there was a try nouveau, so, like, in that situation, you're going to get fewer coolers. But they were definitely pulling it out in positions where, in comps where it's advantageous to have the Tri-Slosher as a main weapon itself. I think there may have been a couple places where I turned my head askance a little bit at the Tri-Slosher. Like, I don't feel like Tri is super good on Museum. I don't feel like it's... I mean, okay, it looks like it popped off here. So maybe I'm wrong. It seems like what you want AoE weapons to do on that map is to take Plat, to take Spinner, and to hit those from like below ledges and stuff. And the Tri-Slosher doesn't go so far that you're going to hit everyone there consistently. But part of it is that they have 7 Tacticoolers here, and so they're going to be fed a bunch of KA from just Tacticooler assists, so that's part of it. But that is a pretty high KA regardless, so I'm surprised to see that it got that many splats, considering how little of an impact it felt it had in terms of their ability to push themselves forward and actually get into scoring positions. Maybe it was also a bunch of like fizzy bomb assists. That could also be it. That maybe they were playing really passively still and just getting a bunch of like chip damage that everyone else was following up on for their kills. That's possible. I don't know. I'd have to watch it again specifically like from their view to see what was going on there. I guess we've got time to do that for a little bit. We'll just kind of skim through it real quick. Where did you get the replay codes? I was given them by Brownie, the streamer, the production guy for Dapple Productions. He just DM'd me. Here is what we're watching. The Bangs hairstyle, like the male Inkling Bangs hairstyle, or the female Inkling Bangs hairstyle? Yeah, like this right here is a place where it feels like the Tri just kind of gets walled out. They're going back real far there. Yeah, they're kind of playing really far back. Maybe just because they have the Power Clan? Here they have to back up. There's no way out of that. Coolering, just in case things go wrong here. Really great response to the zip-in. Alright. It's like right here, their idea is use the vac to get through this choke point. That has to be what it's about. But they don't actually end up using the vac against the Zuka there. So now they're stuck without a way forward again. They use the crab to try and hold. It's so weird seeing the try holding the power clan here. It's like this is a very, very supportive Tri-Slosher. They're not trying to shark, they're not trying to get in there. And we talked about how that push wasn't particularly earned because they're just trying to come around the left side without any pressure on the right, without any pressure up on top of the spinner. They're just taking no other ground and trying to go all in one direction, and that's going to get walled out every time. Like, I legitimately think that a mid-level team could have stopped that push, simply because everyone was grouped up, and there was nothing forcing them out of the way. There was no skill expression available. Well played there, spotting out that Biscuit's taking that really strong position, and they get the player here. It's like, if they can capitalize on this and get up onto plat and really take space at this moment in time, like, we've got those two bombs there. If we're in position to, like, use those two bombs to swim forward and get up onto the plat and somebody else has the power clan, I bet you shark whatever shooter player that is on the right side and take them out. Like, they need to be looking for stuff like that to get up here. Because otherwise, they're just kind of stalled out for way too long. FT Win have all the time in the world to get back. A rare miss there on the fight movement. Lost a player early, so this is still defense mode. That jump seems scary. Like, yeah, that's going to get camped. And here, like, I talked earlier about how FT Win in this position where, like, 3 players are right next to the basket, that this is a really weak position for them. FT Win are punishing Fiesta for being in that position, and they weren't getting punished for being in that position. Where on the stream manager for Twitch does it show when there's going to be an ad? I would really like to know when that's coming. I have a snooze ads button, but it doesn't tell me when there's gonna be an ad. Perplexing. Could this be like a bit like the Splash-O-Matic where it's got a combination of close range and mid-range pressure? Yeah, you definitely learn how to charge the fizzy bombs quickly when you get sick of having to wait for them. Yeah, the ads are at 20-minute intervals. It's just not telling me when those intervals are. Oh, wait, pre-roll-off. Wait, so there might be one coming in another minute? When was the last time we got ads? At X41? What is pre-roll off? Oh, that's pre-roll ads are turned off, which are the ones you get when you just first join the stream. Shoot, so that's not helping. I need to figure that out. I apologize for not having that figured out. Because there would definitely have been better times for ads than what we've had. But at the moment, I don't exactly know. And so I'll just have to investigate that. So this is the kind of thing that I kind of like seeing, where they're trying to sneak into the enemy side and get picks. The problem is they're doing it in the middle of FT Win's special push and with no paint support. That was a good play. Absolutely no way for that player to get out, except for jumping. Yeah, they're kind of running the Tri Nouveau as the main support weapon of the comp. Like, they're the ones who are going back and getting clams. They're the power clam holder. Oh, okay. And they're forced to deal with that so that the clam jump doesn't come in. Then they get a power, but now they don't have access to basket. I don't like that they stayed on ramp there. I think what you do there, because there are only like 2 members of FT Win who are actually active on the map right now, I think what you do is get up behind Spinner and then shark someone. So they get one there. So yeah, it's 2 down on FT Win. I guess you can't shark someone if you make a power clam, but I wouldn't have made that. And now, like, the jump is right here on the ramp. The power clam is drawing everyone to the ramp. The other player comes to the ramp. Where else are they going to aim the Zuka at? They're trying to, like, play from the choke point instead of trying to play around the choke point or mitigate the choke point. And I guess that's what you're trying to do if you're trying to get vac plays off. But there was no vac ready. And there wasn't going to be a vac ready if they just all died there. So, yeah, I think that map was definitely pretty weak for Fiesta. It felt like their idea for how to push was vac and then we'll figure it out. That they didn't really know how they wanted to take the spinner together. But then they absolutely demolished Anumami Ruins. That one was pretty quick, if I remember correctly. And they were able to get a really good push on Rainmaker Hagglefish. Like, when they got staggers on FT Win, they were generally able to pressure those pretty well because they were simply clumping up and running forward at them. So there's no flank that's really going to work there because you're still next to your teammates, and so FT1 just kind of had the seed space. So I think on like when you're at that advantage and you're playing the objective, it wasn't a bad thing for them to be too clumped up, but there were definitely some other times where being clumped up hurt them, or when there were other angles they needed to be covering. So overall thoughts are hard to come up with because every team was running like such a massively different comp, and they all had their strengths and weaknesses. So like what people are going to kind of come together and decide is what they want to play is going to be based more on individual play style and how they want to play the game, which is cool and expressive. But it's also going to make it difficult to really determine like how you're going to win. Like, what are you have to really be good at knowing what your win conditions are and be adapting to what the other team is bringing on the fly. I feel like game one in this meta is going to just be a crazy wash because like you never really know what the other team is going to be bringing unless you've done your research ahead of time. And no one comp is going to counter what everybody is doing. Tactical are still very important. Zuka has shown to have an outsized impact. But beyond those two facts, like we're seeing a lot of like rapid deco. We're seeing a lot of like a little bit of a return to crab, a lot of 96 deco. We're seeing a lot of stamper. What else are we seeing? Tent is definitely playable. We've been seeing that in some fairly high places. But it doesn't seem like there are that many people trying to push it. Snipe Rider is still really good as like a replacement Zap. It seems like more and more teams are favoring the Zap over the Rider, but there are definitely a lot of places where the Rider is really strong. It's just like, I wonder when the ballpoints start coming back. If like everyone's going to be playing Zap instead, what's stopping you from running ballpoint then? Consider that. Although it does need to be said that like I think this entire set was backless, right? Okay, there's one time that someone pulled out a Snipe Rider, and other than that, it was entirely backless. So it may also be important for teams to have a lot of short-range weapons so that they can follow up on each other's fights, and not to rely so much on an anchor, but more on playing aggressive around the tacticooler. Because one of the things that Jared was saying in his tweet about how there is no meta right now, or meta doesn't exist right now, whatever it was he said. One of the things that he was saying was that meta doesn't exist right now except for having good team fights and mechanics with occasional special coordination. And a lot of like what we were seeing from FT Win was just they're winning by team fighting when they get those fights. They're winning by going in and getting good positions and taking good 2v1s, and all of that comes back to like intuitive play, to calling out where the fight's going to be and then just trusting your teammates to help you win it. Alrighty. That is about all I've got for VOD reviewing. I guess we could take a quick look, because we're pretty... You know what? We've got a little bit of time. Let's see why FT Win got smoked in the first 3 games. It was not super close, if memory serves. And we got a little bit of extra time, so we might as well look through it. NX success. T48H. Nope, that's not the right letter. Okay, so here's game 1. Very similar. Okay, so there's double sword on FT Win. I remember they were running that for a lot of the earlier part of the tournament. So maybe they just decided that they didn't like the double sword comp and adapted in set 2. I think that's what happened. So here comes Kyo with the flank. Oh, that should be winnable over there on the bottom side. Nice. And then Kyo never actually found anybody with this flank. So it's kind of just dead even. Oh, the dualies get another one on the way down. That's brutal. It's going to be so hard for FT Win to actually get momentum off. So then Kyo just gets stuffed. Yeah, Xeris has nowhere to go there. Crab on tower is a power move. FT Win are losing members one at a time. They're staggering pretty badly. It's only now that they've really got control back, and they've already lost first check. So they go in mid, 1-for-1. Zera's probably goes down here, or not. Just kites everyone back and wins. Tower at 48 is not the end of the world. It's probably closer than they really wanted it to get, but Zera's saved the push kind of single-handedly there by just outranging everybody. And now Crab catches Zera's, so momentum dead. That seems to be something that Fiesta are doing really well, is getting those surprise specials out. Those peekaboo specials. Like, just suddenly there's a Crab, suddenly there's a Zuka, and they're very reliably getting picks from just clumping up, waiting for someone to overextend into them, and then popping one of those as soon as someone's isolated. So... see if FT1 can get something going here. Zip going in. Gets a lot of attention, but the Inkjet is in everybody else's way, so there's no... like, that's a really great counter from the Inkjet to stop the Zip from doing anything. Oh, and now that there being a Zuka out is scary. It's amazing that Bursty made it out. Vast majority of players do not survive the way Bursty just did. And the Crab's in their way now. Yeah, FT1 are having a lot of trouble just breaking in. It's like everyone's trying to flank, but nobody's able to go in on the front. So maybe that's why the adaptation to switch Kyo onto shooters came from. Like, they just needed someone to be able to actually fight forward. This is a dead Inkjet. Actually forced Kyo forward enough that he might be in trouble. Now he's able to kite back. And they win against the jumper. So, good little stagger there. Fiesta has, you know, the time to spare, but they don't want to be giving up this much map control. Now FT1 should have specials. Granted, one of those is a stamper and one of those is a zip caster, so specials might also be a problem for them, that they're just not able to win the fights with the specials they've got. Yeah, they're doing okay for themselves. The kiting that Kyo and Zera's were doing there to keep that corner was really strong. Great job playing off each other. So the big question on this map is, can you get up switch? If you can get someone up switch and they stay there and don't die, then the enemy team's in a lot of trouble. Okay, so Biscuit trying to get towards lead, but just too wise to go any further for that. Unfortunate that they couldn't stay alive from the shot. It was keeping the push alive, but I don't think they survived that 2v1. Yeah, they can't do it. That's a jump. And now, yeah, they should just get swarmed. I'm surprised that the bucket jumped out there. I guess maybe they were attracting attention and they were able to stay alive for doing it. But, like, they could have just kind of swarmed in and got him. Now, Kyo's way out of position is going to stagger. Yeah, like... Huh. It was a little too scattered, I guess. I don't know if this is comp so much as it is playstyle. But, like, Fiesta were just kind of grouping up and taking fights one at a time and winning because there were more of them in that spot. Felt like the kind of thing where, like, FT1's maybe, like, got too many people calling too many fights at the same time to actually help each other out. So when they did group up, like when Kyo and Zera's were working together in that corner, it was working well. It's just they got split too often and like went in alone too often. Hi, gamers. Hi, Jules. Okay. So they swap Biscuit onto a Rapid Deco. And then we've got the Vac in here for Rainmaker again. Okay, trying to get their attention on right. If there's someone following up from left, then we get value off that. But otherwise, you know, we just got information. I mean, that's value. You know where they are. You know where they're looking. Kyo actually catches someone there. Wow, and gets the bucket too. Kyo straight up outplaying for them to be able to get that check. Because the bucket, at any point there, you know, if Kyo is sharking under the ledge, can just attack under the ledge. You know, it's an AoE weapon. It hits down over the top of that. And, yes, Kyo can hit, like, vertical slashes over the top, but that's not going to be as fast as 2 tri-slosher slashes. I guess maybe they were trying to play for their cooler. Well, Kyo's kind of forced in there because once he gets cleared out from the shark, he either has to back up, which puts him in range of who knows what, and he has to retreat into mid, which would have gotten cut off by the dualies, or he tries to go in and make something happen on the back line. And so that's what he tries, but he goes down for it, and then meanwhile, I didn't even see what happened to Xerez. But this is kind of the risk that you play if you're going to be constantly sharking. That, like, as soon as your shark gets found out, well, there goes you. Okay, Xerez just gets random zooked. Ugh. Great save there from Bursty to stall the push. And they get another one. And I don't know how Biscuit's still alive. Wow. That's just really good mechanics in fighting. That's crazy. They're all still up. That was so clean. Can't find anything more, though. Nobody picks up. There's no opportunity on either side of the map. And they were kind of pushing both sides of the map at once and spreading the resources thin. Do they have anything to push forward with? Any special here gets them to like 20. But it looks like they didn't have anything. Great pick over the top from Biscuit. That actually slows them down a lot. And Xerez might win this. Yeah. So they've got a lot of map control at the moment. Sure, Rainmaker's going to drop, but then it's just going to immediately die. I don't like Kyo dying there. I guess he was trying to sneak through while the Rainmaker shield was forming, but they were just being disciplined and not letting him in on the left. Are they just playing to stall? Like, what's going... Are they trying to wait for their front line to get up? I guess, because they don't have numbers anymore. But this is an interesting position to take. Like, if the Rainmaker goes down from there, you're in a lot of trouble. Oh, God. Why was everyone grouped there? That's the kill zone. Just lost 3 FT win members because they were all on the same spot. I guess they're all trying to stop first check. Okay, yeah, they pop cooler, and Xerez goes in, and someone's trying to paint for them, but, like, why are Biscuit and Kyo getting all stuck there, too? Are they trying to avoid, like, the Trizuka? Are they trying to get an angle on Rain? Rain's not even that far forward yet. Like, this is where they can hold back, and then they go forward afterward once the frontliners commit in, and they know where they are, but, like, oof, this is really rough. Just everybody dies, and they give up check. Now they don't have any specials either. There's probably going to be a Vac soon, you'd think. Oh, but someone... What happened there? Why did they die in front of shield? Why do we lose this dualies? So they dive in, they get Xera's. Okay, they go down to the hammer there. I think this is later. I think it's when they jump in now. I'm wondering why we lose the dualies. Is it just a bomb off shield? Did they like jump in front of the shield? Oh yeah, their jump landing was in front of the shields. That's like the least safe jump point probably. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't someone to go to from there. That explosion is not good for them. I think it was an Inkvac shot. Yeah, the inkjet here actually low-key clutch. I don't know if I like KO picking it up. It stalls for longer, but it also keeps them at numbers disadvantage for longer. Yeah, we probably don't keep lead here, not against the Zuka. I think Fiesta just had too much time to spawn in there. I kind of like Kyo just trying to play the zoning game instead of trying to pick up there and get it out. Because he had to get it out past two Japanese players who were both camping that right side. Could have gone out like over the window, maybe. Maybe that's an idea if he tries to like squid roll backwards and just zip out from there. He probably doesn't know whether it's safe if someone's watching that angle. I think there you probably just want to leave the Rainmaker alone for a bit and keep your life. Because this is all kind of happening off of that. Oh, they just KO. Dang. Yikes. All right, last one was game 3 of set 1. We've already been through the second set. That was what happened earlier in the stream because I thought that was all we were going to have time for. And then I got through it and it was like, oh, we've got time for more. So we're doing more. TB36, TB3C. And TA. Alrighty. Yeah, and we should be good to finish out the stream before we get another ad. So what's going on here? We've got TC Inkblot, same comp they were running all day for Fiesta, and then we're swapping Kyo onto Neo Machine while keeping the Rapid. So triple midline. Just trying to keep their distance, I guess. This is a completely different comp now. No. Oh, but they got someone on the left side, so it's still 2v2. They might actually be able to collapse on the... Oh, no, they don't have the weapons to collapse. Yeah, Biscuit just dies there. Because he doesn't have an angle. Okay, it goes down there. They're trying to, like, swarm in with weapons that are not for swarming. Okay, so they get the pick on Xera's. Later on, like, FT Win is a lot more successful at shutting down the left side, but here it feels like they kind of fall apart from there. Now, the push still isn't through the check, and Biscuit's still in the way, but he gets a little too close, and the try is able to catch it. So this is strong position for Fiesta. If the Zuka doesn't get someone... Oh, there's an Inkjet too. Never mind. They have the specials to hold and prevent second check. They get a jump, they get one down, so now they should be able to sweep through the right stack. They get one, but again, they don't have the weapons for moving quickly, so they're losing that advantage state. basically completely. In fact, now they're 2 down. Yeah, this feels too slow for them. Especially the way they want to play. Especially what their instincts are. Gets Azuka. Yeah, that's just going to win against the machine every time. Diving in like that. Wow, beautiful. Ugh. That is what FC Win want to be able to do and can't because of the weapons that they picked. Just kind of run forward when they get an opportunity, pick a bunch of players, and already be on the enemy side. And there's already a crab up there that's so gorgeous on the rotation. Tower's going to get all the way to second check before anyone touches it. They probably don't want to be sitting off the tower for that long. Okay, they're fine. They're fine. They were just setting up. All right, yeah, 19 is a winning push. They're probably down to just go in and die for that. I really like the idea for the Inkjet there. It just doesn't get off early enough. Because if that even gets one player, that's totally worth it. It's going to take multiple to take down. So you're losing a lot of mid control, and you're not even, like, going down clean. Dualies feel really bold right now because they're just kind of diving in on right, knowing, like, what's going to stop me, an end zap. They're pretty confident that they can just trade as long as they get on top of someone. Playing around those stacks is going to be a strong point for Fiesta. Good look for them right now. Yep, and Xerez is just right in their crosshairs. So, 1 down, but that player is going to be back by the time Tower gets around. Long flank. They're looking for maybe Zuka shots? Oh, they're looking for the crab. Oh, and they don't get the crab. So Kyo's just dead. Kyo's mega dead. Oof. What happened on the front line there? Oops, that's not where I want to be. What's going on here? Is this too far forward? I think we need to back up. Okay, so this is the push that they got. So we'll just watch forward from here. Okay. So Kyo ends up swinging like all the way around through mid on this play here, eventually. When does that happen? Ugh. Okay, I think it's... Oh, it's right here. It's right here. All right. So what happens to Xerez? What happens to Biscuit? Biscuit's just kind of too close right now. I feel like they're just going to get inkjetted as soon as the crab knows that they're there. Xerez goes down to probably inkjet or crab. Burst. Oh, okay, what's getting Xerez? So it looks like inkjet and crab are focused on plat. In they go. Xerez gets over here. Okay, yeah, it's Inkjet plus Crab. And then the same attention gets sent over to Bursty. That's a really good combo, the Inkjet plus Crab in that position. They get so much value out of that. It's like 3 kills easy. And then the 4th kill's free because now you've gotten 3. They need to be getting someone up on the bats if they want to keep this push going, but they might not want to keep this going. They might be recognizing, there's only a minute left. We don't have a lot to risk here. Let's just, like, not go in too hard and try and hold on the left side. Great trade there. Any scrappy trades that Fiesta can take right now are going to be amazing, because it's just going to waste time. And they get Biscuit clean, too. They just keep catching FT Win walking too far forward when there's no plan for a fight. So Biscuit saves it with an Inkjet, and then they just decide to back up and play specials because you have 2 checkpoints and the start of a third before you're actually going to win this game. And they don't even keep the tower past their own first checkpoint. Yeah, so like I said, first set was not super close. A lot more exciting in the second set. But it's interesting. Like it definitely feels like the game plans are not super rehearsed or figured out yet with the comps everyone's trying to play. And that with some more refinement, we could see a very different game by the time we get to the next major. I think it's like Splat World Championships, or is it like a Nintendo Championships tournament? I forget what it is. But those are coming up soon, and 20XX is one of the big preparation events for that. One of the events where it's like, if we're going to be ready for that tournament, then we need to figure out what we're doing at this tournament, because that's where all the top teams were going to be. So they'll go back to the lab and try and figure out what it is that they need to do differently. So I know Jackpot were not happy with their placement. FT Win were not happy about not being able to take first place here. There's a lot of labbing that they're going to be doing and a lot of grinding too. So that's going to be all for our stream today. Thank you everybody for watching. We're going to send you guys over to Lumo, who is playing Salmon Run at the moment. Here are the links to all of the things that I do. I'm a full-time content creator. If you want to get a VOD review on this show, just DM me on Discord, and that'll be pretty quick that we'll be able to get you lined up for that. There's also the Metafy. You can support me as a YouTube member on YouTube, a Twitch subscriber here, a Patreon supporter, and all of those get access to the ability to vote for the Silly Comp Sunday comps. So lots of links, lots of things to click. We raid now. School's out, everybody.